developed the water fuel cell as a retrofit energy systems to conventional cars.
The Avrocar symbolizes the culmination of the second stage.
Throughout history, the path of technological and scientific progress has been marked not only by the inventions that have shaped our world, but also by those that, for various reasons, were pushed into the shadows, never reaching their full potential. These suppressed inventions encompass a wide range of innovative ideas and technologies that, despite their potential to revolutionize many aspects of our lives, were sidelined due to a complex interplay of various factors. These factors often include corporate interests, government intervention, economic considerations, and sometimes the rigid skepticism of the scientific community. From Nikola Tesla's visionary ideas about free energy to the mysterious circumstances surrounding the demise of Stanley Meyer's water-powered car, we combined a list of 10 suppressed inventions that had the potential to completely change the world we live in. Number 1. The Ogle Carburetor. In the archives of automotive history, few stories are as intriguing and controversial as that of the Ogle Carburetor. Invented in the 1970s by Tom Ogle, a self-taught mechanic from El Paso, Texas, this device promised a revolution in fuel efficiency.
And it's running too lean, so it just spits it back out of the carburetor.
Claiming to enable a car to travel over 100 miles on a single gallon of gasoline. The invention came at a time when the world was grappling with the oil crisis, making Ogle's innovation not just a technological marvel but a beacon of hope for a fuel-efficient future. Tom Ogle's journey into the world of innovation was as unconventional as his background. Without formal training in mechanical engineering, Ogle managed to devise a carburetor system that challenged the status quo of automotive technology. The Ogle carburetor's principle was relatively straightforward yet revolutionary. Traditional carburetors mixed air and fuel before feeding it into the engine for combustion. Ogle's system, however, eliminated the carburetor and fuel pump, replacing them with a black box that vaporized the fuel before it entered the engine. This vaporized fuel system allowed for more efficient combustion, significantly reducing the amount of fuel needed to power the engine. Ogle claimed that his system could maintain a car's performance and power while drastically cutting down on fuel consumption. The implications were enormous. Not only would it save consumers money, but it would also reduce dependence on oil and lower automotive emissions. Ogle's invention quickly caught the public's attention. In 1977, he demonstrated his modified 1970 Ford Galaxy, which reportedly achieved extraordinary fuel efficiency. The story was picked up by various media outlets, propelling Ogle to instant fame. He received patents for his invention and was courted by investors and major companies, intrigued by the potential of his fuel-saving system. Automotive experts were puzzled about how the Ogle carburetor could achieve such high efficiency without significant modifications to the engine itself. Despite the skepticism, Ogle continued to promote his invention, turning down substantial offers to buy his patents. He was determined to see his system implemented on a large scale. But his dream was suddenly cut short. In 1981, Tom Ogle died under mysterious circumstances at the age of 24. While official accounts declared that his passing was due to an overdose involving alcohol and prescription drugs, friends and advocates raised suspicions of foul play, considering the significant financial implications involved. The death of Tom Ogle led to numerous conspiracy theories. Some believed that the oil industry, threatened by the prospect of a drastic reduction in fuel consumption, played a role in suppressing his invention. Others speculated that it was the work of auto manufacturers who feared the impact of such a technology on their business model. The Ogle Carburetor, despite its initial promise, faded into obscurity. The patents exist, but no major automotive manufacturer has implemented the technology in a production vehicle. The reasons are a matter of speculation. Some argue that the carburetor was never as effective as claimed, while others maintain that the suppression by powerful interests is responsible for its disappearance. Number 2. The Rife machine. In the early 20th century, Royal Raymond Rife, an American inventor and scientist, embarked on a journey that would lead him to the fringes of medical science. He developed the Rife machine, an invention that he claimed could effectively diagnose and cure cancer. Rife's journey unfolds as a multifaceted saga, marked by pioneering inventions and a contentious battle with the medical establishment. It all started in the 1930s when Rife created the universal microscope, which was a masterpiece of optical engineering. It boasted magnifications reportedly over 60,000 times, surpassing the capabilities of standard microscopes of the time. This allowed Rife to observe living viruses in their active state, a feat that was not possible with the electron microscopes of his era, as they required samples to be dead and stained. Rife claimed that his microscope used a complex system of prisms and rotating lenses to bend light in new ways, illuminating the tiny viruses. Parallel to his work on the microscope, Rife developed the Rife machine, an invention that could cure all kinds of viruses and bacteria, together with cancer cells. The machine was based on the principle that every organism has its own unique electromagnetic frequency. Rife asserted that if you could find the correct frequency, you could destroy a pathogen or a cancer cell without damaging the surrounding tissue. He conducted several experiments, reportedly curing cancer in lab animals and later in human patients. Rife's claims were extraordinary. He asserted that his technology had a 100% success rate in treating cancer. In 1934, he even held a clinic which he claimed resulted in the successful treatment of 16 cancer patients. These claims would have represented a monumental breakthrough in medical science, potentially saving millions of lives. However, Rife's work was met with skepticism and hostility from the medical establishment. Critics argued that Rife's cancer-curing claims were unfounded, despite the fact that there were cancer patients stating they were cured by him. The turning point came when a lawsuit was filed against Rife by the American Medical Association, AMA.
You've been accused of practicing medicine without a license. It's a very grave charge, son. Are you aware that it's unlawful?
The legal battle was arduous and costly. Following the lawsuit, Rife's laboratories were reportedly ransacked, and his research documents were destroyed. His supporters claim that there was a concerted effort by the medical establishment to discredit and suppress his work, driven by financial interests and threatened by Rife's potentially disruptive technologies. Rife's life after the lawsuit was tragic. He became reclusive and his health deteriorated. He died in 1971, penniless, largely forgotten, and cruelly discredited. However, his legacy lived on. In the years following his death, Rife's work gained a cult following. His machine became a symbol of alternative medicine and a rallying point for those distrustful of mainstream medical science. Number 3. The water fuel cell. In the realm of alternative energy, few stories are as compelling and enigmatic as that of Stanley Meyer and his water fuel cell. Stanley Meyer, an inventor from Ohio, introduced the water fuel cell in the 1980s.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, then use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Meyer's cell was not just an electrolysis device. He claimed it used a unique process involving resonant frequencies to break the bonds of water molecules with minimal electrical input. Meyer demonstrated his invention in a dune buggy he claimed was powered entirely by his water fuel cell. According to him, The vehicle could use water as fuel, converting it into hydrogen and oxygen gases, which were then used to generate combustion. This concept was revolutionary, promising an abundant, cheap, and environmentally friendly fuel source. It attracted significant attention, with Meyer even being featured in local news and gaining interest from overseas.
Here at 6 o'clock, an age-old dream becoming a reality. A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
Despite the initial excitement, Meyer's claims were met with skepticism from the scientific community. His story took a dramatic turn on March 20, 1998. Meyer, who was dining at a restaurant, suddenly ran outside, clutching his throat. Suddenly, he fell to the ground and died shortly thereafter. The official cause of death was ruled a cerebral aneurysm, but this did not stop the emergence of numerous conspiracy theories. Supporters of Meyer's work speculated that he might have been poisoned or otherwise targeted due to the threat his invention posed to the global oil industry. Following Meyer's death, interest in his water fuel cell persisted, with various individuals and groups attempting to replicate his work. However, no one has successfully demonstrated a working model of Meyer's device that clearly shows the production of energy in a manner consistent with his claims. While Meyer's invention promised a world free from the shackles of fossil fuels, his mysterious death left many unanswered questions. The water fuel cell remains a symbol of hope for some and a subject of skepticism for others, a vital part of the quest for clean, unlimited energy. Number 4. Anti-gravity device. In the annals of experimental physics and fringe science, few figures are as enigmatic as Thomas Townsend Brown. His work on anti-gravity technology, which began in the early 20th century, has sparked decades of debate, fascination, and skepticism. Brown's exploration into electrogravitics, the study of electrically charged systems' gravitational behavior, led him to develop what he claimed to be an anti-gravity device, a concept that could revolutionize our understanding of physics and transportation. Thomas Brown's journey into anti-gravity research began with his fascination with the Biefeld-Brown effect, a phenomenon he discovered as a young student. This effect, named after Brown and his mentor, physicist Dr. Paul Alfred Biefeld, suggested that electrically charged capacitors exhibited a small thrust in the direction of the positive pole when suspended in a vacuum. Brown hypothesized that this thrust was due to an interaction between the electric field and the gravitational field, a theory that laid the groundwork for his later experiments. Brown's anti-gravity device, often referred to as a gravitator, was based on the principles of electrogravitics. The device typically consisted of a set of capacitors and electrodes, where high-voltage electric charges were used to create an ionic wind, which Brown believed could produce a propulsive force. In his experiments, Brown demonstrated that when voltage was applied, the device moved in the direction of the positive electrode, an effect he attributed to anti-gravity. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Brown conducted a series of public demonstrations of his anti-gravity devices. These demonstrations often involved disc-shaped objects, which would levitate or move when subjected to high-voltage charges. The apparent defiance of gravity by these devices captured the imagination of the public and attracted the interest of the U.S. military. Brown's work was seen as potentially groundbreaking for aerospace technology, offering the prospect of aircraft and spacecraft that could defy gravity and maneuver in unprecedented ways. Despite the intrigue surrounding Brown's work, his claims were met with significant skepticism from the scientific community. Critics argued that the forces observed in Brown's experiments were not anti-gravity, but rather a well-understood phenomenon known as ion wind or electrostatic thrust. This effect, where ions are transferred from one electrode to another, creating thrust, was known to be far too weak to account for the kind of propulsion necessary for anti-gravity flight. Thomas Brown's work on anti-gravity devices has left a lasting legacy, shrouded in mystery and controversy. After his death, much of his research fell into obscurity, with detailed information about his experiments and findings remaining elusive. Some believe the CIA took all of his research and erased anything left to the public, much like they did with many other inventors that we'll discuss in this episode. Nevertheless, Thomas Brown's work has continued to inspire scientists and inventors in the field of alternative propulsion systems. Number 5. The Wardenclyffe Tower. Nikola Tesla, a man so ahead of his time that his name became synonymous with innovation, proposed a concept that could have potentially altered the course of human civilization: free wireless energy transfer. This ambitious idea, born from Tesla's brilliant mind, promised a world where energy would be as accessible and abundant as the air we breathe. However, the journey of this revolutionary concept was fraught with challenges, leading to its eventual downfall, largely influenced by financial and commercial interests. Tesla's concept of free energy was not just about the wireless transmission of power. It was about tapping into the inexhaustible energy sources of the universe. He believed that energy could be harnessed from the environment, from the sun, the air, and even the ether that he believed permeated space. Tesla envisioned a world without the need for coal, oil, or any of the conventional power sources. His idea was to create a global system of wireless energy transmission towers that would provide free and unlimited power to the entire world. The most significant step towards realizing Tesla's dream of wireless energy transmission was the construction of the Wardenclyffe Tower in Shoreham, New York. This tower was designed to be the first broadcasting system in the world, transmitting both signals and power without wires to any point on the globe. The Wardenclyffe Tower was not just a technological marvel. It was the embodiment of Tesla's vision of a future powered by free energy. Tesla's ambitious project caught the attention of financier J.P. Morgan, who initially provided funding for the Wardenclyffe Tower.
To get you started, I'll give you $150,000 to cover your costs of research.
Morgan was interested in the commercial potential of wireless communication, but was less enthusiastic about the concept of free energy. When it became apparent that Tesla's primary goal was the wireless transmission of free power, Morgan began to retreat.
How can we use your light show for the purpose of transmitting radio signals?
He realized that this technology, if successful, would be difficult to monetize compared to wired electricity, which could be easily metered, and he stopped funding the project. The withdrawal of J.P. Morgan's funding was a critical blow to Tesla's project. Without the financial backing, Tesla struggled to continue his work on the Wardenclyffe Tower. The project was plagued by debts and logistical challenges, eventually leading to its abandonment. The tower was dismantled in 1917, and Tesla's dream of a world powered by free wireless energy remained unfulfilled. Despite the failure to realize his grand vision, Tesla's ideas about wireless energy transmission left a lasting impact on the scientific community. His work laid the foundation for future innovations in wireless communication and power transmission. Tesla's vision also sparked a broader discussion about the possibilities of harnessing renewable energy sources and the potential for a future where energy is more accessible and sustainable. His concept of free wireless energy transfer continues to inspire scientists, inventors, and enthusiasts around the world. Unfortunately, Tesla died in poverty, mocked by the established scientific community and without realizing his dreams. His papers and all of his ideas was confiscated by the U.S. government, and nothing of note was shared to the public. Tesla's vision of a world not bound by the limitations of conventional energy sources resonates strongly in an age where the search for sustainable and renewable energy solutions has become more critical than ever. His work serves as a reminder of the power of innovation and the importance of pursuing ideas that challenge the status quo, even in the face of formidable obstacles. Number 6. The Orgone generator. The Orgone generator, a device developed by the Austrian psychoanalyst Wilhelm Reich, stands as one of the most intriguing and controversial inventions in the field of alternative medicine. Wilhelm Reich, initially part of Sigmund Freud's circle, diverged from traditional psychoanalytic doctrines, delving into areas that combined both psychological and physical aspects of human health. In the 1930s, he began to develop the theory of orgone energy, which he described as a form of energy that permeated all living things and the atmosphere. Reich believed that orgone was the substrate of all life, a blue-glowing life force that could be visually observed and measured in his experiments. Reich's orgone generator, also known as an orgone accumulator, was a device he claimed could collect and store orgone energy from the environment. The most common form of this device was a box-like structure, large enough to sit in, made of alternating layers of organic and inorganic materials. The organic layers were meant to absorb the orgone energy, and the metallic ones to reflect it, creating a concentration of energy inside the box. Reich's claims about the orgone generator were broad and ambitious. He proposed that this concentrated orgone energy could be used for a variety of purposes, from improving mental and physical health to even combating diseases like cancer. Reich conducted several experiments and trials, claiming significant results in the treatment of various ailments and conditions using orgone energy. All patients who used the orgone generator stated that Reich's claims are truth. In fact, there were many that were cured by his device. The orgone generator and the concept of orgone energy quickly attracted controversy. The scientific community largely dismissed Reich's theories, criticizing the lack of empirical evidence and the seemingly mystical nature of the orgone. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, began an investigation into Reich's work, particularly his claims about the medical benefits of the orgone generator. In 1954, the FDA obtained an injunction against Reich, ordering him to stop distributing his writings and orgone accumulators. The FDA's main contention was that orgone energy did not exist, and that Reich's claims were therefore fraudulent. Reich defied the injunction, leading to his arrest and imprisonment. The harsh attacks against Reich were very strange, considering he wasn't even charging his clients and he offered healing for free. Wilhelm Reich's imprisonment and the subsequent destruction of his publications and orgone generators were a significant blow to his work. His laboratory was burned to the ground. He died in prison in 1957, a broken man, largely discredited by the scientific community. Many believe he was poisoned while in prison. Nevertheless, his followers continued to advocate for his theories and the use of orgone generators. Despite the controversy and the official discrediting of his work, Reich's concepts have continued to influence alternative science and holistic health circles. The orgone generator has become a symbol of alternative approaches to understanding life energy and has inspired a range of similar concepts and devices in the realms of energy healing and New Age practices. The modern perspective on the orgone generator is divided. Some view it as a pseudo-scientific relic of a bygone era, while others see it as a misunderstood and suppressed technology with potential benefits yet to be fully explored. The scientific community remains skeptical of the claims made about orgone energy, citing a lack of empirical evidence and the failure of subsequent researchers to replicate Reich's results. Number 7. the Avrocar. In the 1950s, at the height of the Cold War, a unique and ambitious project took shape under the guidance of British engineer John Frost at Avro, Canada. This project, known as the Avrocar, was a foray into the world of vertical takeoff and landing (VTOL) aircraft, but with a twist that captured the imagination of both the military and the public.
Produced by Avro Aircraft Limited at Malton, Ontario, the Avrocar symbolizes the culmination.
It was designed to resemble a flying saucer. The Avrocar was a symbol of futuristic aspirations and technological innovation during a period of intense global competition in aerospace advancements. The Avrocar project, initially code-named Project Y, was born out of John Frost's vision to create a new type of aircraft that could provide the maneuverability of a helicopter and the speed of a jet. Frost was intrigued by the idea of a circular aircraft that could achieve vertical takeoff and landing, a concept that seemed straight out of science fiction at the time. The design promised several advantages, including omnidirectional flight, which was thought to be ideal for reconnaissance and potentially for combat in the burgeoning space race era. The Avrocar was designed as an 18-foot diameter saucer with a central turbine engine that blew exhaust out of the rim of the disc, creating a cushion of air for it to hover upon. This Coanda effect, where airflow adheres to a curved surface, was expected to provide lift and thrust simultaneously. The pilot would control the vehicle by altering the flow of air. In theory, the Avrocar would be capable of high speeds and altitudes, with the added ability to hover and take off vertically. As groundbreaking as the concept was, the Avrocar faced significant challenges from the start. The prototype struggled with stability and control issues, particularly at higher speeds and altitudes. The cushion of air that was supposed to lift the craft made it susceptible to ground effect, limiting its operational height to a few feet above the ground. The Avrocar also faced problems with overheating and insufficient thrust. Despite these challenges, 2 prototypes were built and underwent extensive testing. The initial tests were promising, demonstrating the vehicle's ability to hover and move across the ground. However, as testing progressed, it became clear that the Avrocar could not achieve the performance levels required for military applications. It was unstable and difficult to control, especially at the higher speeds necessary for practical use. Initially, the Avrocar project received significant interest from the U.S. military, particularly the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Army, who saw potential in the vehicle's unique design for various applications, including as a flying jeep. However, as the technical limitations became apparent, military interest waned. The project's focus shifted from a high-speed, high-altitude vehicle to a low-flying, all-terrain vehicle, but this too failed to meet the necessary requirements. By 1961, after several years of development and testing, the Avrocar project was officially canceled. The technological and engineering hurdles proved insurmountable with the technology available at the time. The 2 prototypes were retired, with one eventually making its way to the National Museum of the United States Air Force and the other to the Canada Aviation and Space Museum. The Avrocar remains a fascinating footnote in the history of aviation, a testament to the ambitious aerospace engineering of the 1950s. It represented a bold attempt to break the conventional boundaries of aircraft design and pointed towards a future that, while not realized at the time, continued to inspire advancements in aerospace engineering. Number 8. The AOW Wagon. In the early 20th century, a unique and ambitious project emerged in the Soviet Union, spearheaded by a young inventor named Valerian Abakovsky. His creation, the AOW Wagon, or Aero Wagon, was a propeller-driven railcar designed to revolutionize high-speed rail travel. This innovative vehicle, blending aeronautical design with railway technology, promised to drastically reduce travel times between cities. However, the AOW wagon's journey was marked by a tragic event that led to the project's abrupt end. Abakovsky, only 25 years old at the time, was inspired by the burgeoning field of aviation and sought to apply its principles to railway transportation. The Aero wagon was equipped with an aircraft engine and a large propeller at the front, designed to pull the rail car along the tracks at unprecedented speeds. The design of the AOW wagon was a striking departure from traditional trains. It was essentially a rail car with an airplane engine and propeller mounted on the front, capable of seating up to 22 passengers. The vehicle's aerodynamic design and lightweight construction were intended to enable high-speed travel, significantly cutting down journey times compared to conventional steam locomotives. The AOW wagon's maiden voyage took place on July 24, 1921, a test run from Moscow to the Tula region. The journey was a demonstration of the vehicle's capabilities, attended by several Soviet officials and engineers. While the outbound trip to Tula was successful, the return journey to Moscow ended in catastrophe. On the way back, the Aero wagon derailed at high speed, resulting in a tragic accident that claimed the lives of everyone on board, including Abakovsky. The accident was a significant setback for the project and raised serious questions about the safety and viability of the AOW wagon. An investigation into the crash revealed that the high speed of the vehicle may have contributed to the derailment, highlighting the challenges of controlling such a fast-moving rail car on the existing tracks. The tragedy cast a long shadow over the concept of propeller-driven trains, leading to skepticism and apprehension about similar ventures. Despite its tragic end, the AOW wagon was a bold experiment in rail transportation that represented an innovative attempt to merge aeronautical technology with railway engineering, aiming to create a new mode of high-speed ground transport. The project reflected the spirit of innovation and the pursuit of speed and efficiency that characterized the early 20th century. Number 9. The Hoxsey Tonic. Harry Hoxsey's herbal cancer treatment, a concoction of herbs, minerals, and other natural ingredients, stands as one of the most controversial chapters in the history of alternative medicine. Hoxsey, a self-taught healer, claimed his herbal remedy could effectively treat cancer, a claim that brought him both widespread acclaim and fierce criticism.
And we now have in our files and our records many, many thousands of case histories and records, pathological proof, X-ray photographic studies that we do positively cure cancer, both internal and external, and we now have records proving that the cure stands up for many, many years, as far back as over 20 years here in Texas.
His story is a complex interplay of alleged healing, legal battles, and the enduring debate over alternative cancer treatments. Harry Hoxsey's journey into cancer treatment began in the 1920s, rooted in a family recipe purportedly passed down by his great-grandfather. This recipe, a blend of herbs including red clover, burdock root, and licorice, was claimed to have anti-cancer properties. Hoxsey believed that this herbal mixture, combined with dietary changes and other natural therapies, could detoxify the body and cure cancer. Buoyed by testimonials from patients who claimed to have been cured, Hoxsey opened his first clinic in Illinois in 1924. Over the years, he expanded his operations, opening clinics across various states in the USA. These clinics offered the Hoxsey treatment, which varied depending on the type and location of the cancer, but generally included an external salve for topical cancers and an internal tonic for other types. The Hoxsey treatment quickly garnered attention, with many patients vociferously supporting its efficacy, stating they were indeed cured by the formula. However, the medical establishment was highly skeptical. Critics argued that there was no scientific evidence to support Hoxsey's claims, and that his treatment was at best a placebo and at worst potentially harmful. Despite the lack of mainstream medical endorsement, Hoxsey's clinics continued to attract patients, many of whom turned to his treatment after conventional cancer therapies had failed. This popularity further fueled the controversy, with Hoxsey positioning himself as a folk hero fighting against the established medical system. Hoxsey's widespread popularity and bold claims inevitably led to legal challenges. The American Medical Association, AMA, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and other regulatory bodies accused Hoxsey of practicing medicine without a license and selling unapproved drugs. A protracted legal battle ensued, with Hoxsey defending his right to offer alternative cancer treatments. One of the most significant legal confrontations occurred in 1950 when the FDA filed a suit against Hoxsey for promoting unproven cancer cures. The ensuing legal battles were lengthy and complex, involving numerous court cases and appeals. The continuous pressure from the medical establishment and the legal system eventually led to the closure of Hoxsey's clinics in the United States. However, his story did not end there. In 1963, Hoxsey's chief nurse, Mildred Nelson, moved the treatment operation to Tijuana, Mexico, where it continued to operate under the name Biomedical Center. The center attracted patients from across the globe, continuing Hoxsey's legacy. Harry Hoxsey's herbal cancer treatment story is a poignant reminder of the complexities surrounding alternative medical treatments. It underlines the challenges faced by therapies that exist outside the realm of conventional medicine, especially in the highly sensitive and critical area of cancer treatment, which is an industry worth billions of dollars. Hoxsey's story is not just about a herbal remedy. It's about the broader themes of hope, healing, and the ongoing debate over the boundaries of medical practice. Number 10. Cold fusion. In 1989, the scientific world was rocked by an announcement from chemists Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons, who claimed to have achieved a nuclear reaction at room temperature, a process they termed cold fusion. This extraordinary claim suggested a future where energy could be produced cheaply, cleanly, and abundantly, revolutionizing the world's energy landscape. However, the ensuing controversy and challenges surrounding cold fusion have made it one of the most debated topics in modern science. Martin Fleischmann, a renowned electrochemist, and Stanley Pons, then chairman of the chemistry department at the University of Utah, announced in March 1989 that they had successfully produced a nuclear fusion reaction at room temperature. In traditional nuclear fusion, as occurs in the sun, immense heat and pressure are required to force atoms to fuse, releasing vast amounts of energy. Fleischmann and Pons' claim of achieving this process under ambient conditions was nothing short of revolutionary. The experiment conducted by Fleischmann and Pons involved electrolysis of heavy water, deuterium oxide, using a palladium electrode. They reported that their apparatus produced excess heat that could not be explained by chemical reactions alone, suggesting that a nuclear process was at work. They also claimed to have detected byproducts, such as neutrons and tritium, typically associated with nuclear reactions. The announcement generated immense interest worldwide, with the prospect of a simple, inexhaustible, and non-polluting energy source. However, it also attracted intense skepticism from the scientific community. Many experts were dubious, as the claims seemed to violate well-established nuclear physics principles. The key criticism was the lack of consistent, repeatable results, a cornerstone of scientific research. Following the announcement, numerous laboratories attempted to replicate the results. Some reported successes, but many failed to reproduce the excess heat or nuclear byproducts claimed by Fleischmann and Pons. The inconsistency of results, along with errors and ambiguities in the original experiment's methodology, led many to dismiss the claims of cold fusion as erroneous or even fraudulent. The announcement of cold fusion was not just a scientific event, it became a media sensation. The public, excited by the possibility of a clean and cheap energy source, followed the developments closely. This media frenzy, coupled with the premature disclosure of results before peer-reviewed publication, contributed to the controversy and skepticism surrounding cold fusion. In the years following the announcement, the initial excitement gave way to disappointment and criticism. Major scientific institutions and journals grew increasingly skeptical, and funding for cold fusion research became scarce. Fleischmann and Pons faced professional and personal backlash, with their careers and credibility significantly impacted. Despite the controversy, the idea of cold fusion has refused to disappear entirely. A small but persistent group of researchers continues to investigate low-energy nuclear reactions, as cold fusion is now more commonly known. These efforts are often on the fringes of mainstream science, with limited funding and recognition. The narrative of suppressed inventions is a complex and multifaceted one, intertwining innovation, ambition, controversy, and often the harsh realities of economic and political interests. As we have explored various cases, from the visionary endeavors of Nikola Tesla to the contentious claims of cold fusion by Martin Fleischmann and Stanley Pons, a common thread emerges: the delicate balance between groundbreaking discovery and the societal, scientific, and commercial forces that shape their trajectories. These stories serve as poignant reminders of the myriad challenges that confront radical innovation. They highlight the resistance that transformative ideas often face, whether due to entrenched interests, regulatory hurdles, scientific skepticism, or a combination of these factors. The tales of the Avrocar, the AOW Wagon, and Harry Hoxsey's herbal treatment, among others, underscore the reality that the path to innovation is seldom smooth and is frequently fraught with obstacles, both external and internal. Moreover, the saga of suppressed inventions underscores the importance of rigorous scientific validation and peer review, especially in cases where the stakes are high, such as in medical treatments or energy solutions. It also points to the need for a supportive ecosystem that fosters and nurtures innovation, one that balances skepticism with open-mindedness and economic interests with societal welfare. As we reflect on these stories, we are reminded of the enduring human spirit of curiosity and the relentless pursuit of knowledge and progress. While not all claims of suppressed inventions withstand scrutiny, each story contributes to the tapestry of human endeavor and the ongoing dialogue about the role of innovation in society. In the end, the saga of suppressed inventions is not just about the inventions themselves, but about the broader themes of human aspiration, the quest for understanding, and the complex dynamics that govern the advancement of technology in our world. If you're interested in more incredible inventions, watch our video on Nikola Tesla's secret inventions that were lost or censored. The link is in the top pinned comment.